What's up everybody, hope you're doing well, and in this video I'm going to be speed running from how you can go from 0 book calls to 3 calls per day from your YouTube for your coaching business. And I'm absolutely going to be showing everything, no cuts, no skipping ahead. My screen will literally be pulled up the entire time, and you're gonna see exactly what you can do to create converting micro niche YouTube content, retain the viewer's attention, attract buyers from the content you create, and book inbound qualified calls daily. And to be honest, this is what your current cycle looks like, that you get an idea and immediately you start filming it and then you post it. And that video actually gets you some views, and you pray that it gets you book calls, but it doesn't get you any because your idea isn't validated. There's no strategy behind it. And that is why you get frustrated and you don't create content. Well, if you want to be like one of the people we worked here who booked 7 calls in one day because we positioned her YouTube content properly, and when we posted a story sequence, it booked all of these calls, then stick around till the end because I'm going to be showing the exact strategy. And the only difference between you and the coaches who are booking consistent qualified calls from YouTube is not that they create better content than you. It's simply because their content is conversion optimized. It's specifically made for their ICP who are looking for help and willing to pay for it. And by the way, if you don't have a coaching offer yet or you're still figuring out what you need to sell, this video isn't for you. But if you are a make money online female coach who's already posting on YouTube and getting 0 calls from it, or you haven't even started and you want to implement the right strategy so you don't waste any time, then this video is exactly for you. We're going to cover 3 points. Let's start with the first one, is creating intentional content at scale. Now, most gurus will online will preach volume, volume, volume. However, you follow that advice, yet you still have an empty calendar, have an unqualified audience, and this frustrates you to the extent that you stop creating content and completely just get put off from it. However, the problem is that you have no intention behind your content. Now tell me honestly, who do you think will not only attract but also convert better? The girl who's posting intentional volume at scale, intentional content at scale, or who's just posting aimless volume, doesn't have any strategy or intention behind it? Obviously girl number 1, because the content is specifically made for her ICP. Now, you also need to understand that every single piece of content you create has a job. It either solves a problem, or breaks a limiting belief, or positions you as an expert, or even some are made to generate leads, nurture, and build trust. However, the thing that you do wrong is that you try to solve many problems in one content piece, which confuses your audience, so no problem gets solved. Instead, you need to try to solve or break a limiting belief one video at a time. Don't try to solve too many problems at once. And secondly, you need to also understand that buyers don't buy after just seeing one piece of content. They need multiple touch points before they actually trust you. Remember the 7-11-4 rule. They're never going to buy from you unless this rule is complete. And you also need to understand the buyer cycle. Unless the buyer cycle is completed, they won't go ahead with the transaction. Now, a person might watch your video right now, but it might take them 2 weeks, 1 month, or even 3 months to purchase from you. Everyone has a different buyer cycle, and that's why you need to create multiple pieces of content so that people in their buyer cycle can convert, which leads me to my next point, which is that every single person is in a different stage of their decision making process. And one person might be towards the end where they're just looking to purchase the right mentor, while others might be looking for who they need to purchase. And that's why you need to create content for every stage of the decision making process. And the reason why 99% of coaches never see the results from the videos they create is because they don't understand this rule, the compound effect. So basically, the compound effect states that every small, consistent, everyday choices and actions accumulate over time to produce massive exponential results, whether positive or negative. So if you're not going to post content, then you're going to see the negative result 3 months down the line. But if you do start posting niche down content on YouTube, you will see the positive result 3 months down the line. So it goes both ways. And the reason why coaches basically think content doesn't work is because they don't reach the point to experience the exponential curve. A lot of times you'll just be flat, and then all of a sudden you'll have your exponential curve. Well, most coaches can't hit the exponential curve point and that is something you have to face. Now, by the way, if you're a Make Money Online female coach, book a one-on-one call below to see how we can potentially work together. I'll map out everything for your situation so you can avoid most mistakes people make and scale faster. So just click the link in the description below and book a time that suits you. Let's go on to the second point, which is basically your unique differentiators. Now, instead of me just telling you why finding and establishing your unique differentiators is important, let me just show you. Now, imagine your ideal client. They're struggling to make their first $10,000 online. Honestly, tell me, who would they buy from? Would they buy from John, who says, I made $5 million online with dropshipping, here's my Lamborghini? Now, he shows the end result, but not the process. He's extremely hard to relate to, and he really feels far from your reality. Or would they buy from Sarah, who says, 3 years ago, I was broke, living in my parents' basement and couldn't get a client. Now, here's exactly what I did to reach 10K per month. And Sarah is pretty transparent about the process. She shows the record months, she shows the months where the record isn't met, she shows the ups, downs, her personal life, her everything. And she really takes out the time to build trust and connection with her audience through showcasing her morals and values. And you feel like the position Sarah is in, you can achieve that extremely, you can achieve that. There's no gap that feels unattainable. Well, obviously 99% of the time your ICP will go for person 2. And now you might be wondering why? Well, because people don't buy because you proved you're successful. They actually buy based on connection and belief. Now let me just take you through this journey real quick. The first step people encounter is that people really need to connect with your story. Now that's why you need to tell anecdotes about your personal stories and all of that stuff. Once they connect with your story, then they'll move on to the second point, which is people then now see themselves in you. So if they can really picture themselves in the position you are, then that's a go ahead for them to move on to the next step, which is that they believe in success. Now they can finally believe that this is not out of reach and this is something they can achieve. Once they believe this, then this is the signal for them to buy, and they will particularly buy from you if you've established your unique differentiators and if you are the one who took them up to this point. Now the formula is pretty damn simple. You need to be relatable plus credible, and this will lead to building massive amount of trust. Now what most people do is that they only pick one thing. They'll either be extremely relatable but they won't have any credibility, or they'll be extremely credible but they won't really be relatable. Well, if you're doing one of any, then that means you're not going to be able to make the amount of money you can make. In fact, it's stopping you. So instead, leverage both of these components and divide your content in half. Some content is just there to build trust. Some content is there to show your authority in your industry. Now you might be wondering, well, Hadiya, what can I actually make my unique differentiators? How can I establish them? Well, that's a good question. So there are so many things that can be your unique differentiators, like your age, income level, ethnicity, beliefs, lifestyle, personality, situation, and background. For example, I'm a 16-year-old female entrepreneur. I'm running this business while being in school and playing sports. So this is my thing that separates me from 99% of my competition. Once you find yours, you need to double down on it, and I kid you not, the moment you start leveraging your unique differentiators, genuinely first finding out what they are and then leveraging it, I promise you your offer's conversion rate will increase drastically. Now you can also do this by, on your onboarding form, actually understand why people purchase your offer in the first place. Genuinely understand the reason why they're more inclined towards your offer, your personality, you over your competition. And once you find that out, reverse engineer that in your content, use that in your marketing angles, and it will bring you back tenfold. And now we come on to the last and final point, which is having an optimized video structure. Now most coaches just provide value flat out. From the start to the end of their content, the way they make their viewers feel is the same. And that's why no matter the value they provide, they can't convert their audience. Now you might be thinking, okay, fine, but what's the solution to this? Well, you need to reverse engineer your winning video structures and also the winning video structures in your market. You need to see the videos that have the highest watch time, are building the most trust, and lead your viewers to purchase your coaching offer. And once you have them, you really need to put them into Claude or ChatGPT and understand what made this video structure work. So, well, what are the winning elements of this video structure, so you can reverse engineer. Now, you also need to understand what makes a video worth watching. And because if it's worth watching, it will lead to more conversion. Because if your watch time is low, no one's going to get to your CTAs or the part where you're actually bringing them to your coaching offer. They won't even get to your value. So that's why you need to understand what makes a video worth watching. Well, number one is anecdotes. This fulfills the relatability side of things. You need to tell people about your you need to connect with personal stories. We actually understood the importance of this a few minutes back. You need to relate through your stories, your situation, all of that stuff, because if you can make your audience relate to you, they're going to be much more inclined towards buying from you. Then comes foreshadowing. Now, this is one of the retention tactics that you need to use. Subtly tell what will come throughout the video, what is coming towards the end of the video, because this will help your audience be actually retain and actually watch the video till the end, so that they can get the chunk of the value. And then another retention tactic is open loops. Now, a lot of people just have open loops and they close it within that second. Well, the truth is you don't have to do that. In fact, that's hurting your view count. Instead, you have to open a loop and solve it in the middle, close that loop towards the value side of things, or towards the CTA side of things. It's really important to establish and create open loops, and then also having emotions evoked. If you're making your viewers feel the same way throughout the video, they're not going to have any emotions evoked, which means that they're not going to be really inclined towards purchasing your offer. But if you evoke emotions like scarcity, create some urgency and really push them emotionally towards your offer, it's going to motivate them to actually book in a call with you. So do not just provide your value flat out. But for our clients, we actually establish conversion mechanisms and retention tactics throughout the video, so that the people can stay and actually convert. And lastly comes CTAs. If you don't have CTAs in your videos, losing out on a lot of money, because you can't leave the viewer not knowing where they have to go at the end. You always need to give them a step so that they can take it and actually take that step after watching your video. That's why having CTAs is so important, and I'm actually going to explain how you can add these CTAs towards the end of the video, so keep on watching. Now, having having an optimized video structure is extremely important, but these are some prerequisites you should focus on before even having the optimized video structure. Number one is having an absolute killer title and thumbnail. Both of these things need to pique curiosity. If your title and thumbnail are not piquing your curiosity and not getting your viewers' attention, then you need to focus on that before you even focus on your video structure. So what you need to understand is that your title and thumbnail is the 20% of the activity that will generate you 80% of the result. So because before even clicking on the video, they see your title and thumbnail, so they won't even get to the value part if your title and thumbnail isn't evoking enough. So definitely focus on that. And then comes the absolute optimized video structure. Now let's come the first part is your intro, and it consists of two parts, the visual side of things and the verbal hooks. Now for the visual side of things, you need to really focus on your video quality, how you your opening frame, the video aesthetic, and pattern interrupts. If you can focus on these core components, your visual side will be done and it will be dialed in. And then that brings us on to the verbal side of things. Now, there are multiple hooks you can use. Now, that will depend on type of video you're creating. For one video, anecdotal hooks would be extremely beneficial. For another one, addressing the pain point straight up would be perfect, or credibility hooks or curiosity-driven hooks. So you need to understand your video and then craft hooks accordingly. And the structure of these the hooks and everything would be extremely simple. Now this is 30 to 90 seconds. You do not want to prolong the hook, because especially in the industry you're in, people like to get their value quick. If you beat around the bush too much, then they're just going to click off your video. So definitely make your hook concise. Don't add any fluff that's not meant to be there. So number one, you need to state the title. when people click on the video, it's because they thought your title and thumbnail was nice. So if you don't repeat your title in the first 3 to 5 seconds, then they're not gonna be inclined towards watching it till the end. They're just gonna click off. You can take this video for example. I stated the title at the start, and that's why you're watching right now. And then comes proof of promise. Like, you need to actually tell the viewers what they will get and why they actually clicked on the video is right, and they're gonna get this thing at the end. And then you need to agitate their pain point, because they clicked on your video because they have a pain point that needs to be resolved, or they're looking for a solution to one of their problems. And that's why before even providing the solution, you need to agitate the pain point so much that your viewers have no choice but to alleviate that pain point. So agitate the pain point and then create a desire. Like, you need to show them like their desired state, give them a glimpse of their desired state and what would it look like if they took action. And then you lastly just create an open loop, which you don't close like instantly. You close like towards the end of the video or towards the middle of the video. So this is the simple hook structure. And now we come on to the second point, which is the messaging. Now this is the value side of things. And to be honest, your messaging should only, these are the main core components for your messaging. Number one is problem agitation. Now you can't just agitate the problem in the hook, like that's strong but not that strong. You need to agitate the problem throughout the video. So you state the problem, then you agitate the problem, then you give value like examples and value, and then you give your takeaway of like the lesson you learned. For example, if you gave example a personal anecdote, then you give a takeaway and the lesson you learned. Then comes like saying out and actually like doubling down on your standout factors. Now you need to be talking about your unique mechanism and what makes it different than your viewers or their own unique mechanisms. And you need to also double down on talking about and showcasing your unique selling point. Now whatever your unique selling point it is, you should absolutely abuse it in every single content piece that you create. And then you need to also elaborate on morals and values. Like any chance you get, like whilst telling a story or anything, you need to elaborate on your morals and values, because at the end of the day, that's how humans connect. And once they connect, you have their attention, so you can convert them easily. And lastly is social proof. So you show like case studies throughout the video. Like I showed one like towards the hook, which made you guys stay till like over here. And also like talk about your origin story, like give your own proof as well, social proof of like how you've helped clients and students, and your own proof as well. Those are a killer combo. And lastly comes CTAs. Now there are 3 types of CTAs. Soft CTA, which comes in the 10 to 15% mark, bridge CTA, which comes in the 30 to 50% mark, and hard CTA, which is usually towards the end and comes at the 70 to 90% mark. Now the framework for CTAs is pretty simple. A lot of people, what they do is that they either have no CTAs or they only have one CTA towards the end. Well, the truth is most people, like only your loyal audience will watch the video towards the end. Most people will just click off in the middle, or they'll book in a call if they really find your value intriguing. So you need to give like CTAs throughout the video, but you can't just give direct CTAs, because that's going to make the viewers want to click off. Instead, what you need to do is that this is the simple framework you need to follow. So once you say a hook, you give an indirect CTA, which is the bridge CTA, which is bridging them from the hook to the value, and then you give out your value, and then you give another indirect CTA, which is soft, like subtly saying like, oh, you helped one of your clients with this, or like this is the exact same system you like put in for your clients, and how you helped your student go from 5K to 10K per month. Anything, just subtly say that. It's a soft CTA. And then you give out your messaging and value again, and then at the end you give a direct CTA explaining them every single thing, showing them the opportunity cost of not working with you, and then showing exactly the next steps they need to do to actually book in a call. It's that simple, no need to overcomplicate it. And this is the entire system you need to have in order to book 3 calls per day from your YouTube channel for your coaching business. Now, if you want to work with me and my agency one-on-one, then you could click the link in the description below and we can have a chat. And subscribe if you find this video valuable, and I'll see you in the next one.